and created a rodent machine. Actually, it's a copper wire that creates energy out of free energy or free thin air. You know, Nikola Tesla, by the way, created a tower made of copper as well that was absorbing the energy from thin air to be able to supply enough energy for 20 houses, a whole street. We can live for free, guys. We don't have to work so hard. Let the kids work so they can learn and get the experience, but we can enjoy everything we want to do past 20, 21, right? When it's the age to drink. But drink wheatgrass juice, of course. All right, Vortex Mathematics. You know the Jewish community is very powerful, right? The chosen one, the Star of David, you probably heard, you know. I'm going to show it to you, but it's all related. So I'm going to put all the numbers here. Where is 0? 0 is here. 0 is nothing. 99.99% of the universe is nothing. That's the place to be, guys. Neutral thinking. There's no right, there's no wrong. There's just as is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay? So we're going to start with one number, and we're going to play a little bit of mathematics. 1 and 1 is what? 2. 2 and 2?
4.
4 and 4?
8.
8 and 8?
16.
16 in vortex, in cosmic numerology, that would be 1 plus 6. That's 7. 16 times 2 is 32.
5.
3 and 2 is 5. 32 times 2,
64.
which is?
10.
Which is?
1.
Yes. 64 times 2,
128.
8 and 2, that's 11. 1 and 1 is 2.
2.
You can go on and on and on to infinity. It's always going to be the same. 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5. 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5. That goes one way. You can go the opposite way too. 1 divided by 2 is 0.5. Divided by 2 is 0.25, which is 7, etc. You actually do the same thing, but reverse. You can multiply, divide, you can do all types of things. It's always going to be the same thing. Now there's 3 numbers that didn't show up yet. 3, 6, 9. So let's take 3. 3 and 3 is 6. 6 and 6 is 12, which is 3. 12 times 2 is 24, which is 6. 24 times 2 is 48, which is 12, which is 3. And you go on and on and on. 3, 6, 3, 6, 3, 6, 3, 6. Right? And then you have 9. We didn't count it yet. That's the last one. 9 is the master number. 9 is, according to God, the gathering of deities. God polarizes all the other numbers. 9 and 9 is 18, that's 9. 18 times 2 is 36, that's 9. 36 times 2 is 72, that's 9, and you can go on. You can divide, same thing. So you join them together. And then you flip it. You get the yin and the yang, and that's what you get. You get the Star of David, right? Very powerful. Have you heard of the solfeggio tunes? I think to our chakras, we have 9 chakras. That's a way that the Egyptians were actually using the solfeggio tunes to build the pyramids, because there's no way to put one stone every 9 minutes in 22 years. They had to have some type of help. The help was using frequencies, sound, light, and frequencies. So they used the solfeggio tunes.
What do you call it?
Solfeggio.
Solfeggio?
So you take one, for example. 1, 2, 3. 4, 1. You heard about the cycle of, you know, in astrology you have the houses and you have the quarters. So you have 3 houses, right, in the first quarter. And the 4th one, that's where the magic happens. So we're going to take 1, and we're going to add 1, 2, 3. And the 3rd one, we're going to add 1. And then we go on around the clock. We're going to add 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know the solfeggio numbers by heart, but I basically wrote down all the solfeggio tunes. You recognize 528, 741, 174, 396. They're all linked to the chakras. We are linked to the universe. We are linked to all this mathematic loving thing going on with the universe. Food for thoughts. You think about it. We can go deeper, you know. 9, 8 plus 1 is 9, 7 plus 2 is 9, 6 plus 3 is 9, 5 plus 4 is 9, and we can go on. You take the alphabet, same thing, 26 letters, A to Z. A would be 1 to 8, actually to 9, then you touch 1 again. You flip the alphabet upside down, A plus Z, that'll be 1 plus 8 is 9. 7 plus 2 is, 8 plus 2 is 9, 8 plus 1 is 9, 7 plus 2 is 9, etc. The alphabet actually follows the 9 as well. And you can go on with music. There's a ratio between the light and the sound that is exactly the same. And many ancient civilizations use the light and the music to build the pyramids that are linked to the cosmos and etc. Any questions about this? Do you understand why I'm showing this to you? That everything is linked with mathematics? And if you take the 369, you recognize it here. That's it. You got 9, 3, 6, flip, 9, 3, 6. And we need both. We need the yin and the yang. That's why the hexagonal shape is the most powerful sacred geometry figure for us. I mean, there's many others that are linked to it, but that's the most powerful. So that should change the world. When people start to understand this, that really start to open people's consciousness awareness and start to look outside and look at nature and understand that we are not just animals. We have a consciousness awareness that can be fed with the proper nutrition and to be able to absorb. So the vitality logo is basically the cross. That's VT for vitality. You heard about vitalitism? Vitalitism, if you look at the dictionary, it's linked to many things in the history that is altering a little bit of the word of vitality. So vitalitism, that's a new word that doesn't exist in the dictionary. And I'm working on the definition, and it's going to be a new world in a few months. Vitalitians is the people that are linked to vitalitism or believe in vitalitism. That has nothing to do with religion or anything. It's more like a state of it is what it is. But the understanding of the science behind the electrical reason of everything that happens within us, within the food, within other people, and the energy in belong. So once you understand everything, you actually better understand yourself to make better choices in your lives. So going back to the food, I made my tray here with the soil. I put the azomite and the magnetic sand. So what we're going to do is just...
Well, you mentioned the rock dust. Where does that come into play?
Rock dust would be the same as magnetic sand because it contains different polarities in it, negative and positive. So the same thing when water falls down to mountain springs. You have a rock that is more positively charged, another one that's more negatively charged. So the water goes through this and it's pushed and attracted. We call that pounded or hammered. And we can actually duplicate that with alchemy. Like I said, that tube, the vase to restructure the water, I put those magnets around it to restructure the water even deeper, to recreate those rocks that you find in nature. So when the water passes through those magnetic field, it's pushed, pull, pushed, pull. It's like a push you left to right, left to right. So it energizes you, you see? Does that make sense? So you press the soil down, and you got it nice and flat, you see? So what you do is you put your seed on top. You 1 pound of hard winter seeds, and you just spread it even. So of course I'm thinking and I'm talking. I'm very thankful for putting the seeds now here. The babies are released to be in contact with the soil. That's going to give them the proper nutrients so they can grow and survive and thrive. And make the food that's going to be necessary for us to be able to eat, drink, and thrive and survive in our turn. So your tray is pretty much done. All you have to do is put some water on it. So I'm not gonna do it now because it's gonna drip, make a mess. But once it starts to drip on the bottom, you see there's actually holes on the bottom of the tray. It's for two reasons. To release the water excess, but also for the soil to breathe. Because if you don't have an airflow, you're gonna make a powerhouse of mold and mildew, and you don't want that. So you need an airflow. So if you go inside, you need to have some type of fan, or a fan on the side that's gonna blow air on it. Or the best would be outside, but if it's windy, of course, it's better. So always have like a good airflow. So what I'm gonna do is put that tray here.
Would you bring them inside, Terry? Like 65 degrees? or-
Yeah, 65. Temperature has a lot to do. The colder, the longer it's gonna take. The warmer, the faster it's gonna take. But the warmer actually accelerate mold and mildew. So the warmer it will be, the more airflow you're gonna need. So put like a large fan next to it and just keep it blowing all the time. So you have the flow from the bottom and the flow from the top that's
So
gonna.
you can't put it on the counter because it's not gonna breathe.
Yeah, yeah.
So-
Yeah, you need airflow. Absolutely airflow. That's a big
Or
problem
if
with
you put it on
every.
top of a couple of different, something on the bottom of it, so raise it up a little bit, if you have a counter space. Or you on a table outside, if you don't have something like that, you put on a table,
Yeah.
put
Yeah,
some,
you elevate it, so you can put 4 cups or 4 glasses on each corner, and then you put it there. And you have like a little side fan, so then you go on your counter. You know, you always be creative and find a way.
Do they sell in packages that white standard?
No, but you can build your own. What you do is you go Home Depot, and you buy the pipes for the sprinkler system.
PVC.
And they have this special knife, you know, that you can cut. So you cut dimensions, and you just buy your couplings, you buy a bunch of them, doesn't have to, you know, I mean, you can take a picture of this and kind of count them and how many there are and etc. But this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trays, because I can use one on top here. And it's high enough there too. So just one side, a few here to stabilize. You see the way I did it? I mean, it's pretty simple. So the way I'm gonna put my tray, I'm gonna put one on top here. The reason why I put one on top is to create obscurity. Because the seeds now, they think they're in the dark. So you're gonna search from the light. Because you see, I put them on top, I didn't put them inside the soil. So I put that on top to create the darkness, they're gonna go up. That means the roots are gonna go down, right? And in addition to that, I'm gonna put some weight.
See, the roots are gonna grow down,
Yes.
so it'll come down. So I'm just trying to picture that.
Okay, you put some weight on it, on this tray that you put on top. And the reason why I do that is because I'm gonna make my seeds stronger when they grow.
Stronger?
Stronger.
Ah, stronger.
Yeah, like this. You see, if I'm going up like this, it's easy for me, right? But if you count line, push on my shoulder down, it's harder for me. I'm working hard on my legs. That's what I'm doing with the seeds. I make them stronger. That means more vitality. Vitality, that's a true energy source.
So you put the weight on this to make them, give them more power?
Yes.
It's just gonna go through it.
They're gonna be muscle, super
So you see
strong.
plants like sprouts going through concrete or going through asphalt.
Yes, exactly.
So they might be more concentrated.
Yes, concentrate the vitality within them. Make them stronger, more energy in it.
So they don't need the light to grow?
They absolutely do. Yes, they do. But
But-
this is for the first 2 or 3 days.
Also, until they germinate.
Well, they already germinated.
Well,
They
I'm
already have
thinking germinating more than that, getting bigger. They
Yes.
sprouted.
What's gonna happen, you'll see, after 2 or 3 days, the tree is gonna start to lift.
Really?
The power of leverage. This table is heavy. It's hard for me to lift it by myself. But if we all got it, we can do it with 2 fingers each, right?
Yeah.
That's what's happening here. They're all strong. They're super muscle wheatgrass seeds now. So they grow up, they're gonna levitate the tray. Now you can take it off. So every day what you do, you put water on it. You put water on the top. You sprinkle gently so you don't disturb them. So it's not in a spot. And then you put it on the tray right here.
So you just water once a day?
Yes. So I'm gonna do what I will pretend to do. Well, I wake up in the morning, so hi babies, how are you doing today? I take my tray off. And if I have more, I can actually take my tray down here, put it on the grass somewhere, and sprinkle my water on it. So you don't have to put this type of water because this is not for soil, this is for humans. But what you can do is add some ocean pure water. Now I bought this ocean pure water at Petco. They have a 5-gallon for aquariums, and this contains all very good minerals in colloidal form that you can find in the ocean. You know, there's a huge life form there, it's a jungle, it's a different ecosystem. But plants love that because it contains certain nutrients, especially ORMs, in a high concentration. ORM stands for Orbitally Rearranged Monatomic Elements. And it's unlocked material that the soil can recognize and utilize and give it to your seed, to your food. So you can add some pure ocean water to your water.
Ocean
and add
water
it to it.
at Petco
Yes,
for spraying the
for spraying or add to the soil when you actually rinse.
rinsing.
Well, you know, add the water. You actually moist the soil because you want the soil to be moist. When you know you have enough water in it, when you start to drip on the bottom. So what I do before, because I grow this in my patio, I just leave the tray outside on the grass. So there's a contact with the earth. Because once I put it here, there's a discontact from the earth. And earthing, grounding is very important for us, but also for the plants. So I leave them there for now too, on the grass. When it stops dripping and actually replenish from negative ion charge electrolytes that the soil actually absorbs from the earth. You see, there's many ways you can actually feed your plant, right? It's not just the soil. Then you can put it back there.
Can you mention something about grounding? You mentioned that word.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah. And then you put the weight back on it. Second day, third day. The third day, the lift, you take the tray out. Then you see the grass going here. It's going to be like a light green. So you do the same thing once a day. You put water on it. I'll come back to it. I just want to finish that. And when you know it's done, when the blade starts to split in half, that's the time to harvest. And you don't cut and use. You cut everything at once. And you save it in your fridge. The best way to save is to put on those evergreen bags, the volcanic ash green bags, that will make the food last longer. You can do some experiment with bananas if you want. You'll see it will last much longer. You get more life shell to it. So I would suggest for 2 people to do 2 or 3 trays. And if you have an electric wheatgrass juicer, pass it through, pass it again, because the pulp always retains some wheatgrass. People always, you know, they lose a lot of juice, but just pass it 2 and 3 times even maybe. When the pulp is nice and dry, you know you extract the best out of it. Or the best is the hand one. So a bit of exercise. $40 on eBay, the hand wheatgrass juicer extracts very well. You get a lot of juice.
You need a juicer, because I don't have a juicer, I've got a Ninja blender.
A blender, what you do is you blend the fiber of the wheatgrass in it, then you drink it. We are not cows, we don't have 7 stomachs, so we cannot digest those fibers. The reason why we need to juice it with a wheatgrass juicer is to extract the juice out of the fiber.
Press
Yeah. Or another way, the easiest way and actually the most hygienic would be to chew on the wheatgrass. So you actually chew on it, you sanitize your gums, you sanitize everything in your mouth. You extract the juice and then you spit out the pulp. That's actually a very good way to
So
do
you
it.
shouldn't be eating the pulp?
No.
And what do you do with the pulp? You
Compost.
Well, if I have a long one, I make a bracelet out of it and I show off. Or you can compost if you want, not really necessary, because it's just fiber. Again, it's not about the food, it's about the energy in it. So the wheatgrass pulp will be an extra substance that will contain a volume that you can actually utilize putting something else in it, which would be a compost soil or soil with magnetic and azomite, and you know, and you got the point. So you understand all that? So once you cut everything, done. Once your tray is cut, you can't grow it again, like they do jumbo juice. They grow it 3 times. You can't do that because you lose all the nutrients already. You get what? Maybe 30% on the second tray, and maybe 5% on the third tray. That's what they do at jumbo juice. And you'll see when you ask for a wheatgrass shot over there, they rinse it, but they don't shake it. So you got a wheatgrass that has 5% potent in it, filled with water. So it's like really, it's cold water that's like a juice. It's really nothing.
So you can't, once you grow it, you can't use the soil again.
Correct.
So
So
you're
what
done.
you do, you can compost it or
Compost
just
it.
throw it back to earth, you know?
Put back in the compost.
Yeah. So as far as the sunflower greens, it's pretty much the same thing. So those are my sunflowers. They have been soaked and germinated for a day and a half. And this is my bag where I get them from. Got them at Walmart. The black oil sunflower seeds, source of high quality proteins. This is bird food. If you look at bird food bags, they got a lot of good foods in there. Actually, birds eat better than us.
You use bird food? Bird seed?
Those are black oil sunflower seeds. Yeah, and that's what you're gonna use to grow these.
And Home Depot, you said?
This is Walmart.
Oh, Walmart.
Yeah, you find them also at Petco or any pet stores.
Black oil, so,
Yeah, black oil sunflower seeds. Those are whole. That means they have the shells around it. So when it grows, you see the shell is still on the petal. So what you do, you just shake it off. Or you see it just fell off, or you just take it off by hand. Or another way is just cut everything, put it in a large bowl, fill up with water, shake it all up, and the seeds will actually float on the surface, so you just take it all off. Those sunflowers, this is really very, very powerful foods for us. Do you know during Chernobyl, after the leak of radiation, they actually grew sunflower fields all around Chernobyl to get rid of toxins. Because the sunflower convert that into something that's beneficial. It would absorb all the toxins, chemical reaction, radiation and all that stuff. So if it does that to the soil, imagine what it can do to you. Sunflowers are very powerful foods.
but then so you say chewing them is the really best way?
Well, you can, yeah, use that as a salad. I wouldn't suggest that to juice. Or you can actually blend, make a smoothie out of it, but it's better if you eat it as a salad because it's so nice. You can actually try it.
Delicious.
Yeah, pass it around, take a piece out of it. Eat the bird food. And as far as the beans, oh, I'm sorry, let me go back to the sunflowers. So the sunflower, it's going to be 1.5 pounds of seeds compared to 1 pound for the wheatgrass. And
Pound
the
and a
same
half sunflower?
process, you fill up with water, soak it overnight, germinate for 2 days, and then you do the same thing with the trig.
So what was the first beans you used? The first beans, you said was a pound of what? The wheat?
Wheatgrass
Pound of
juice is
wheatgrass?
1 pound for a tray of 17 by 17. And for sunflowers, it's 1.5 pounds. That'll be the best proportion, the most food you can get out of the tray. Because too much will be too much and not enough, then you lose, you know. So,
So have them in water for 2 days, Terry?
yeah, you soak it overnight, 8 hours. Same thing with the hard winter wheatgrass seeds or the beans. Overnight, everything. And then you germinate it. That means you rinse it 3 times a day.
Rinse?
You rinse.
What kind of water are you using?
Regular tap water. Actually, better if you get better water because when you soak it, use purified or spring water rather than tap water because the seeds are actually going to absorb all
Absorb
that.
whatever's
But when you
toxin.
rinse it, you just want to wash them off, so it doesn't really matter the type of water you use.
Clean water,
Yeah.
works out better.
Yeah, clean, pure water would be the best to soak the seeds. Then to rinse doesn't really matter because you just want to wash them off.
So, but you said soak them 3 times. You put them in, you soak them for 8 hours.
You
then do it
soak
again
them
for 8 hours.
overnight, then you rinse them 3 times a day.
You rinse them off. So
Rinse, that means you fill up with water, you shake them all up, that means you change the diapers, you clean them up from whatever release they've done. And then you take the water out.
Okay, I thought you soak them 3 times
No. Soak means leave in the water,
for all.
1 time,
8
overnight,
hours.
the first time.
What about
Eight full hours?
8 hours. Yeah, so.
when you water them every day? What kind of water are you using?
Purified water too, because now you feed the soil, so you don't want to put chemicals in it. Again, sunflowers will convert the toxins from the water into something that's beneficial to you, the same way it did with Chernobyl. So, I mean, there's many things, controversy we can talk about, what type of water to use for the soil. to be safe, I would say, you know, like use organic foods. For me, organic food doesn't really matter anymore because organic food doesn't contain the minerals.
Right.
And that's what we're looking for, is the minerals in the food.
Doesn't it contain what?
Minerals.
Mineral?
They do, but to some extent, it's very minor. Because they still use herbicide, pesticide, they just use less, and that's why they can call it organic. If you look at the organic patents in China, they allow about 45 different toxins in it, like pesticide, herbicides. But it's okay, that's how they call it organic. And then you go to grandma and grandpa's organic farmers local market, and they don't have the organic label in it because they don't produce more than $50,000 a year. That's how you get the organic sticker. But you can go to the get your sticker online, print it out, and put the sticker on your food, and that's what people do too, to sell the non-organic but organic. There's many controversies, many ways. That's why I don't want to go in details with this. Same thing with the oil. Pure olive oil from Italy, actually it's pure soy oil made from New Jersey. There's nobody that regulate those things. So, I mean, again, just use your common sense, grow your own food, and drink your own water. You know, that's the best way you can go safe. So, as far as explaining to you what is to rinse, I'm going to do a demonstration right now. So, yeah.
Hank or food.
I was going to get one to you to fix.
And that's the sunflower
Okay,
seed.
that's good enough. Small, thank you, Jen.
Feed bird.
Okay, I'm back.
Are those organic though, or are they
Is
GMO in Walmart? You get GMO sunflower seed?
Okay, well, GMO, another thing, the body can actually convert the GMO or DNA disrupted foods back to the original state. And there's one thing that can do that is worms. We all have worms, those elements that are superconductive, that actually restructure the DNA structure of the food that has been pasteurized or radiated, because every food that comes from another country to this country here in the United States is going through radiation, that means the DNA has been altered. Your body has the potency, the ability, capability to be able to restructure that. So forget about all this GMO thing.
So what's the word, orbs, or orbs?
Orms, ormus.
How do you spell that?
It's O-R-M-U-S. Yeah, I'm gonna run quick to my car because there's I have the Ormus book.
And that's the water, it's that special water with the worms in them at the store, at the pet store? What's that called in the spray?
No, ocean water.
Ocean
No,
water.
it's different. That's a pre-aquarium.
Okay, I'm back again. Alright, so this is the Ormus book that's written by Chris Emmons. She's a dear friend, she's a pharmacist but also a master alchemist. She lives in Key Largo. She does a Ormus lab day over her house. So if you found her, actually I'm going to promote her next event. So if you found this event today, you'll find the next event for the Ormus. I do also lectures about how to harvest Ormus. I charge money for that. It's not free because it takes a long time and limited seats. But this, Chris Emmons, E-M-M-O-N-S. So what she says here on the first page, what is Ormus? It's a group of essential minerals previously unknown to modern science because they didn't have the equipment to be able to see it. Now they do. And what they see, it's a monoatomic element that's missing electrons around it. That means it's amplified. And when you absorb those elements to your body, it assists the cells to communicate better with one another, superconductive. Just like the ocean. The ocean is salty, why? Because superconductive.
Is it the fifth stage of matter? Ormus?
I
No?
don't know, sorry.
It's like liquid, gas, solid,
It's actually,
plasma, and
it's the
Ormus, fifth one.
It's the fifth one.
Yeah.
It's the ether, the chi, the prana, the life force, the philosopher's stone, they call it too. That's the space between you and I. That's the consciousness. So when you harvest Orms, people do qigong, and what they do is they actually concentrate the chi into a small bowl and they put in themselves. They do that for an hour too. When you harvest your own Orms, it's like qigong for 100 hours because it's 100 times more powerful. You drink it. They sell those half an ounce of pure worms from gold, for example, $150. So it's good to know how to make your own because you'll save a lot of money. And there's a lot of things that can do. For example, it will change your gray color back to color. You get rid of your floatings in the ice. It just helps the cells better to communicate with one another. So everything works more perfectly, more harmoniously in your body as a whole.
The cells communicate better?
Absolutely.
Isn't that increasing the energetic field? So
Increase, yeah, energy field, your chakras open wider. Actually, it's been experimented. Chris Emmons has done the test with Kirkane photography, where she did a picture of her before and after taking the worms. And you can see the crown chakra open super wide, like 10 times bigger. It's very powerful stuff. So we have the worms in our body. The worms is everywhere. There's certain elements that has more than others, like pure ocean water, carrots, aloe vera, and Dead Sea salts. So those contain very high level of it. So when we do harvest them, the elements, we use those elements to start with. And then we use alchemy with full moon, which has more magnetism, and some pH levels. And there's many ways to do it, which the book explained to it.
when you eating that like I just eat them, it tastes real good. I could just eat the whole rest of that plant,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
But you're saying I should juice it or just not, you should just chew it and spit it out.
No, this is different. This is not wheatgrass, this is sunflowers.
No, 'cause I could eat the whole.
Yeah, sunflowers you can eat the whole thing, you don't need to juice out with.
That's
No,
salad.
The
Even the dirt
wheatgrass,
was in my mouth. Like,
yeah, this is cow's food. No, the wheatgrass, you cannot really eat it because of the fiber.
okay.
Yeah, the cows have 7 stomachs when you have one, so that's why the cow can eat it, but we can't.
So I see you have to juice that or chew on it and spit it out.
Yes,
Terry, can you mention again where the worm is, where you can find it? You said carrots. sea
carrots,
salt.
aloe vera, sea salts, and pure ocean water. Actually, ocean water. When you swim in the ocean water, you actually swim in pure ormus. Very important. And we
That's why
right
you
here.
energize so much.
And I'm going to talk about this again when I talk about grounding.
Carrot, sea salt,
Aloe vera.
Yes. But those are the 4th element, the 4 substances that you can use and harvest a lot. The carrots and the aloe vera contain a lot of iridium and rhodium, which is very important for the brain. You actually increase your IQ with that.
iridium.
The Egyptians used worms to increase the IQ levels. I don't know if you heard of the BOS, BOS. If you go to Ormus and search on Google, you'll find a lot of stuff. The EXP, forgot, EXP. That stands for the capability of absorbing information, retaining, and for example, we absorb about 3 million of information per second. We only acknowledge and be conscious of only 2,000 of them. So by implementing worms into your body, you actually increase that level. That means you become more aware, you get more memory, you get better, you live better.
So how do you harvest worms from carrots and aloe vera? And
Well, for carrots, very simple. You juice it, so you retain the pulp. You drink the juice, but you retain the pulp. The pulp, you dehydrate it for 12 hours, so it becomes like a fine rock. And then you use a secret fire, which is an acid, for a month to 6 months. And then you use that, and you use another type of acid to unlock the elements and harvest it. And then you wash it. And wash it means put distilled water in that container. The worms will drop down because it's heavier than the distilled water, because you don't want to drain the acids. And you do it like 3 or 4 times in a question of about 6 hours. So it is a long process.
Yeah, I don't see myself doing that.
That's why I suggest you read the book. It will explain how to do it. Or just follow me on the meetup.com/Vitalians for the next meetup, Ormus meetup. So I'm going to show you how to rinse, because it seems like there was a misunderstanding about this. When you soak, that means you leave the water, the seed in the water for 8 hours. When you rinse, you put water in it. You shake it, or if it's a bigger container, you just stir it with your hand or spoon, whatever. And then you take the water out. You see the water is a little bit dirty. That's the poop from the thing. So that's why you want to clean it. Every time you use live foods that come out of your fridge, remember, living foods, poop. So wash it all the time. You gotta wash before you eat your sprouts. People get sick when you heard about the story about the alfalfa, someone died. So they say, oh, alfalfa is bad. Of course, you know, and that's how they do in New York. They have those magazine stands. They put the big letters on the magazine, alfalfa kills. But they didn't show the bottom. It's a whole propaganda
Same
and
thing with the
conspiracy on how to put a review on top of that one so people don't read the rest of the sentence. So people say, okay, alfalfa, raw food diets, vegetarian, vegans, it's not for me because it kills.
Same thing with the colloidal silver and the blue guy.
Yes, yes. So they say, cook your food, right? Because when you cook, you kill the bacteria and the toxins, right? But when you cook, you have to understand, when you cook food over 118 degrees or 104 somewhere, you actually kill all the enzymes, all the life force energy, all the proteins, everything in it. So there's a lot of controversy. Even Whole Foods has controversy. If you go there and look at the seeds, when you take your beans, there's a little booklet there, and you open it, and it says which beans you can soak. And it says azuki, lentils, and monks you cannot soak. But yet, they sell the germinated seeds over there. That means they soak them. So you see, there's a lot of misinterpretations. You have to use your common sense. So I just rinsed those beans. You see, I didn't leave them in the water, because if I leave them longer than 8 hours, I'll drown them. Then they lost their life, because they died. So you don't want to drown them. You want to leave them for 8 hours, enough amount of time to activate the enzyme, the life force energy in it, so they can germinate. And then you rinse them just to wash them.
We said rinse them 3 times.
Rinse them 3 times a day.
Separate. I mean, so
3 times a day.
What's the time? Why do you have to rinse
If you
so many
work,
times?
before you go to
What was
work,
said.
when you come back from work, and before you go to sleep. So it gives an interval between the hours.
And then what's happening in the interim from when you rinse it from one to the other? What's the difference? Instead of rinsing good one good time.
Because they will poop, and if you leave
Oh,
them
so
too
they're gonna
long.
be- I got you. You want to give them time to poop.
Yeah.
Exactly,
I got you.
right. So you'll see that you could actually eat some now. Pass them around. Okay. So you understand about how to grow. Now you guys can grow your own food. Wheatgrass, sunflowers, and do your sprouted beans. Now I'm going to talk to you about earthing and grounding. Why is it important for us? Now remember I told you that the earth is negatively charged. This is the earth, it's negatively charged. I forgot my chocolate, so. And we're here. And the trees are here. And the plants and animals, everything that's attached, connected to the earth is negatively charged. Everything that's not is positively charged. The sun is positively charged. So, when we breathe air, we actually breathe positively charged free radicals. It's like you cut an apple in half, and you look at it within a few minutes, it'll turn brown. What is it? It's oxidation, right? It's the nature's way to be able to recycle something so it can keep surviving. And the reason why it's brown, because you actually slash cells in half. So you kill them. So it becomes brown because it's dead. It becomes dark, right? It's like you burn wood, it becomes dark. You leave stuff in the fridge forever, it's gonna turn dark. Lifeless.
If you
Not-
use ceramic knife, it doesn't go down.
Okay, well, that's another thing. But I can guarantee you that the oxidation process of the air will still turn the apple dark.
Ceramic knife.
Ceramic knife will, yeah, it'll slow down. If you cut a salad or lettuce with a ceramic knife, it will make it last longer. Because when you cut, of course, you destroy it. Lettuce, by the way, grows old 20 years per day. So when you cut, for example, wheatgrass and things like that, you actually want to store it because now it's actually aging. And once it's harvested, by the way, you know when the sunflower greens are harvested, good to harvest, is when the petals split and there's a shooter that comes in the middle. When they're all like that, you cut it. Everything at once, and you save
Just
it in
want
the
to,
fridge.
how do you cut them all on?
With a ceramic knife?
This
Pair of
one
scissors?
gets in the middle, the third one?
Yes. That's the good time to cut. If you let it grow, it's gonna grow sunflower. That's a different type of food now. You can't really eat the sunflower, it's too thick in fiber. So, we want to stay negatively charged. That's why it's important to walk barefoot. We are very lucky here to live by the beach. So every day, even rain or shine, doesn't matter, I go on the beach and I run barefoot. Actually, I run a long distance, from one pier to another, so I carry about 8 to 10 miles. On the sand, it's hard because when the sand is soft, you can multiply the effort by 2 or 5 times. But I do it and it makes me feel good. And I do it for another reason. It's because I'm an athlete. I do extreme sports, and I want to keep up and proving the world that I don't have to eat meat, because meat is not a life force. So you get all the substance that is not just food, but other type of energy source that you can. And grounding is one major one that people don't acknowledge or take for granted, or they don't even know. When you ground yourself, you absorb from your feet, from the bottom of your feet, which is a platform, a device, to be able to absorb those electrolyte negative ion charge, to replenish your cells with the negatively charged ions necessary to kill the free radicals. Free radicals is the worst thing you can do to your body. How do we get free radicals? From cooking foods with oils. When you cook oil, you actually create a powerhouse of free radical. What is a free radical? It's an atom that's missing electrons around it, so it's very unstable.
Even coconut oil?
Even coconut oil, all the oils. Coconut oil is good, would be the best oil to use to cook, but cook it slightly. You know, don't overeat it, because when you overeat coconut oil, you actually create the free radical again. You'll see when it turns brown. So when you have a free radicals that enter your body, remember that's positively charged, and you are negatively charged. It gets stuck somewhere, right? Another thing is a free radical is missing electrons. So the first thing it does when it enters your body, it's looking for a healthy